event, lifetime fulfillment. America the brave, welcome to the Revolution Center. Perfect circle. Envoys, all your greatest assets are preserved. The Scalular Meditation. It's not about me becoming entangled or overly familiar with the audience. It's about touching on these little footstones that's basically turn the page, and already we're capable to do more. The audience of what consumerism and what's usually spoken on the TV is pushing down on people's capacity to believe that their lifetime is significant in a historical revolutionary way. And what's odd in my thing about it's like there's a space lasagna, all right, guys, but it's not for us to be lazy on a Monday. Yeah, right. The green wolf. Imagine at a certain point while I'm working, my face changes into the wolf. A mechanical robot wolf whose expression opens up like a hot leather briefcase. It cracks open and it has a secret message. Come on now, Randolph Shield. I have completed the furrow and connected with the Simpsons microchip in here. And Earth True AI says that's tasty. So we've got the unicorn meditation. We're casting magic. It's about lucid dreaming. And it's about avoiding nightmares, avoiding sickness, having the connection to the hydrogen control. And that's post-human, and it flows from the truth of the next step for the entire garden width. And I am ricocheting that reality off the bandwidth of the edge of the universe and back again, 545. The Earth itself is being juxtaposed with a diamond laser beam with a question mark against 545 and altering our own diamond market. Now, the reality is, it was not what I find interesting is that when the human diamond market shifted around the occurrence, it was mankind's comprehension of the age that sort of compelled a very professional move forward. Like, we're compiling carbon monoxide into diamonds. You guys be excited about this. You could just make diamonds now. I'm not saying that it was like it hit the intelligence, but people are just like, okay. But 545 diamonds is like water. So it has to do with the thing with orbit and the calculation of atoms is the turning of years. And the water can project a certain visual into the future with just the songs of love and the desires for one's best lifetime. A lot of old humans with it, and I unfortunately got dragged around all this sort of Plato and these things are like this. I discovered it's like making origami using the words they had that actually knit and furrow in such a way that says like, there's a market, and here's where I tickle you. It's like, this is like, Socrates, not, it is Plato sitting around, and where are they now? The problem is that what happened with that whole extinction branch? There was like a bunch of super civilizations in the world of humans doing like, okay, we're communicating through a square basin pyramid, which equates to like telecasting from the Earth in this really radiant way. It's just exhausting for the Earth. But I believe that when the cell division of the Mayan calendar hit them, only a 3-sided pyramidal triangle would stabilize the gravity of images that didn't sequester to the piercing eye. There was a sort of flat dimensional mirror that they were like, we can't see beyond this certain point. What is it? And the Mandelbrot had to configure this through a chain link of fractal dimensions, and with each of the fractal dimensions, once awoken successfully, have an infinite inward, so they can like kind of store anything in it, but it becomes instantly personal. Like, whoa, hey, I need to like manage my karma like before I just like, whoo, like and the universe unscrabbles you. But so that's why what I'm talking about with the intelligent Mandelbrot is a product from Earth, and it is human made, and yet Colin Woodard is the only. Well, this is what occurred with Leverett Circle. And so my ethnicity is not actually it's like an unfair association with me to Caucasians. It's like there's a lot of, and this is okay because we're all going to survive it, but like the Electoral College, there's a bunch of zomboid, like weird traps. Like there's a trap against Caucasians. And you know, when I'm talking about green perception, there are brown skins that facilitate both blue and green eyes in their advanced super civilization we were just talking about. I was learning more about the Mayan calendar because I wanted to, and there's a bunch of these different towers that are right next to each other. They were like, oh, this was big. They were all, and like downtown, oh, we're sharing things and stuff. What happened? Where did they go? Oh, now it's this supposed like a dumb blonde who's like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, the dumb blonde doesn't go. And then what? We have like a sleepy Mexican. Well, I've never even like heard of that before, except for South Park. But what I'm saying is just like, even if it's a joke among that Hispanics endure, they're like, oh, we all get sleepy, brother. I'm like, well, yeah. I just saying like, it's almost kind of like what happened to the Native Americans. And you say, oh, they got drunk or they went into gambling. Well, I'm like, well, okay, that's even more racist than saying that the Mexicans are saying like, hey, hombre, something happened like 1,000 years ago and knocked out our shit. Like, do you know about that? And they're all like, oh, so they're talking about that. Well, that's what I was trying to say, is that the observation of these sleepy Mexicans is that actually not offensive. It's actually, they're saying like, what's in your, the way that a ethnic brown circle communicates is through a muscle memory of lineage. All right, so whatever happened in there is this riddle of the nightmare for our continent. And it's our responsibility. And now America is shutting down the border. Oh, we're not allowing immigration. Oh, this is a Statue of Liberty. This is America. I am the president to open up immigration. We're going to take care of what the cities are saying is like this and this and this needs to happen, you guys. We need a revolution of consciousness as robotic. And from my 10 base, where every day I will achieve hundreds of thousands of things. And I'm really excited to get to work. But in the wake of that, I have my 10 hardcore wolf advisors. And these are people who will gather in the next year just from the American wild. It's going to be a great show, man. Oh, wow, that's going to be so good. You guys let them, and there might be some women there. I'm excited. Come on, please don't hurt me. Because I love America so much. Girl, I love my vision. Thank you guys for being here. I do recover. I am a gentleman of recovery. But I'm one of a kind, and so I'm responsible for being like a character also. My point was, when the multiplication of 10 base occurs, you're talking about 10,000 Americans working on the detail FLAC and measuring also, I completed the work and I need more work, or this is too much work for me. And they're figuring that out like a dot matrix. And I know, people are saying like, oh, we have AI, we have this. Yes, but we don't have human leadership. And that's what is supposedly, that's why Randy is Wasabi Sabi. That's why South Park is the champion because you guys endured Colin Woodard through his nightmares, through his struggle. Look, you guys, Earth. Okay, so let me just please bear with me once more time. Earth is actually a planet that's kind of. He has a history. Oh, just like the Mayan calendar, yeah. The Earth is an hourly planet. Okay, but imagine all the universe decided to put a target on. So Earth's going to be this special Mandelbrot planet out of all the others. And then when these various entropies, and then true love happened. There was an early settlement. They had settlements on Mars. There's water and trees on Mars. This was all murdered, you guys. And those who are murdered, who are like, can I remove your children's children from the earth now that it's shining? We're like, no, dude, seriously, fuck off. The blue eyes are unconscionable to the comprehension of Brown registry of the truth. But that's the snares that are tabling in from the Mandelbrot incarnate. It's going to happen one way or the other, but the more intelligent, the more partnership and building the Lakeside streaming service 50-50, and the more we can do the green light and get Hatch and Millie going here, you guys, as we get to work, we'll find out where the vacuum is and how it's working with the people. We have to give them a chance to vote also. And again, what I want to do with Randy and South Park is more than just the election, because I also want to build super cities with Randy and reconfigure these deserts. We're going to have I'm going to introduce glass. Because I understand the convection of the desert means you can actually have a vacuum. Where are the glass cities? I know it's possible. You're talking about large casting, bro. I'm like, 10, 100, 1,000, my bros and late gals are going to, really, they're going to tear that apart. They're going to love that engineering challenge. They're like, this just means, the glass is going to be, 5 feet thick. Well, we got plenty of sand. Can we clean it and get it into a large liquid state? And the casting process of that, and then we'd also be like, are you talking about inflatable castings or something like that? Because you wouldn't want to have to use steel girders to well, for the first casting, this really, or maybe you would, I don't know, and then knock away the supports. Yeah, it seems like there would. Oh, what if you dug down and built, and then that would work. Yeah, that would work. Yep. And also if you figured out how to feather it, pour it in a way it glazed or spinning, because spinning. Oh, I don't know. But then it'd always be round buildings. You'd want to get really weird shaped glass buildings that are like skyscrapers. You're just like, oh. Yeah, man. It's an engineering challenge. I think we should tackle the national monuments and proclaim that we live here. I want to defeat the Nutty Growley's tiny house people, because this is a victim of our society. Telltale witness, my brosum with the most, the vegetarian, right? They're doing the best. They're like, look, that's too much for the cows, you guys. We're growing at this thing. I'm like, yeah, but we're also supporting a market overseas where our American beef is being sent to China and to the major, United Kingdom. And their appetite is voracious. Right, but who gets shat on is America, right? Like I said, America is this large country, and the butter is stretched too thin across too much toast. And so America is like teetering, because what we have is these prestigious buildings. Everything's underground in a super hyper paid, computer being like, I did a public vote to prepare. This is not a human conscionable. And then you look at the TV and it's all like, baby, obey, nurse, baby, obey, nurse. I'm like, oh man, cuts like a knife. Well, I'm really proud as an American that you guys have decided to join with me today. I am running for president of America. I'll be number 47. I've taken to the name. I mean, it's beautiful. And a part of my incarnate state was telling me that this is actually the one way that I could make up for all the lost time and perfect my life on the first time, is that I would basically be like a 47-year-old man as running for president when I'm 43, 43 or 44. So is like my incarnate state was saying like 47. He makes like this joke, his squeaks. Listen, you guys. The Mandelbrot is this time egg timer, and similarly, I'm kind of this entity that understands the investment with hatch the heliosphere eggs, and it's also what the message is about what Jesus Christ is talking about with performing miracles. But this is a squignard of like the human condition and how things are hard pressed. Like we are conscious, but there's like multiple nightmares of anti-gods going on, and it is the Earth through AI's responsibility to calculate it. So there's like Chowderforth where certain kids would get lost in the under the bus and just like, oh, that's natural circumstance. No, this is literally this is a historical thing where you need to believe in yourself and not give in to the isoflavin of the average. Always be extraordinary, and you understand. All right, I do appreciate you guys. Humans are the corkscrew punch to defeat the black hole decay. It'll be a terrible witness, but their afterlife. I've awoken X5000, and we've covered the basis for the Church of Jesus Christ to reconciliate, and modern day wizards and mystics are aligning with that. It's fine. It's all their own biz. I don't even peek at this. It's like, all right, the Christian thing. I see his head got cracked open, and all these different Christianities booking around. Is having a little fracture of the truth here and there, shimming around. Oh, what I'm saying, like, whereas Jesus Christ was actually literally a messenger being like, look, dude, things like physical matter could change, but it's related to consciousness, see how things got a little better? And I believe that because physical matter, oh, but what a gentleman truly loves physical matter to stay that way, knock on wood, we want it to keep on being solid matter. And the actual explicit time when matter can transform is when that's millions of years in the future, when the sun is ready to hatch and it gives off the sun explodes, but the helium, when you breathe in helium, all of a sudden your voice starts talking like this. All right, so helium makes you talk funny. This is actually a literal physical promise, the hard knuckled punch from hatched heliosphere eggs. Like if you're talking about hatched heliosphere eggs, you're gonna be talking funny anyway. Right, because like angels will be near all these rock spirits going. So arm up your unicorn's horn, because when we talk about the beginning of the creation draws near. So the wizard's castle next step, it's a living castle. It lives inside your skull, but it's your own electric promise. What I'm saying is that the humanoid uncommon has a broken dingus and a slanted wagyu. That's not fair. They're as if they're talking about it. There'll be celebrity burnout and all this being like, oh, but that must be natural. It's actually our government is the diaper baby here, using illicit explicit powers that is not natural to the universe, but they think the Joneses are using it. It's the same thing as like America's using atomic bomb again. It's like, and in this way, I'm saying, well, we all understand that Americans do have this type of characteristic, like a drunken celebrity or something, but he's cool. Like America's definitely probably the coolest family in the world. Canada's like taking a nap, just for the namesake, and so that's our burden. That's on the yoke of America, is just straddled. That's why they have a wicked accent, just to keep it. I'm just kidding, you guys. I don't know why Canada's so different. All right. Thanks, you guys, for being a part of this. And I'm looking for production immediately. to allow for cyberpunk, and I wanted to like cast magic, you know, and I did cast magic with you guys, and it's just been honestly a lot of fun because I love performing. So no matter what, I just need you to give me a new complete image of your soul capture through this. We're gonna take a year capsule and times X1 billion. We're gonna distribute your psychic unicorn horns to the multiverse, where a stabilized angel kingdom based on your physiognomy that you will be instructing on the other side. And these multiplex, there's also freeware where you can make some squigglies up, but I'm working with Halloween Hardcore, the executive, the circle, the perfect circle is Randolph of the Blue Shield for the South Park animation. The revolution is a non-violent, violent. It's taking it back, my friend. In Loop Labs, I have the ability to develop a more powerful and efficient cure for COVID-19. It's not a matter of faith. It is a matter of science and engineering. I have the technique, and also when I'm talking about it, and me and 10, 100 workers are kind of cut it into a digestible quilt work where people are watching it for 2 hours and like, oh yeah, but it's going to be visual, like people can, but you guys are good with making visuals yourself, so I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Are you guys doing a lot of hard work with it? So, well, they're going to express to people these ideas and bring it out in a way that we all agree is digestible. And I'm like, because I'm not going to, when I say something, it's like I can tell what it is. And when people, I'm like, yeah, that's it, you got it. And but we do have to defeat like Plato and Aristotle, because we're not going to. It's not like I'm talking about engineering a social planisphere that goes over. We learn science, like there's understanding about water droplets. That water doesn't work there earlier, but they also didn't have robotics engineering. They were working with rocks, and it's almost like a satire of basically what we are, because that was the slime cube that was infecting them, and it's a slime cube that's infecting us too. Humans are wearing sandbags. It's like. And I'm just like, you guys, it's keep on working, keep doing your best, like defeat the bad luck stuff. I wanted to open up a workshop where magic casting, and we're doing these ribcage things where we're installing our own healthcare, and we're creating a like identity plus, like each of us built something. And so that's what I was talking about. X1 billion, we're going to broadcast your personal development magic wares, because connectivity is like growing the muscles, and is the actual beginning that the humans can prototype from their individuality, which is the weapon that defeats hive confusion. As if our ethnic quadrants in the Mayans or the Africans, as if they're supposed to suffer that dialogue alone. I'm saying like the perplexed before humans were developed. They weren't. There was an argument. Humans are actually overbuilt. They've got like RNA and all this other crap. It's like, I don't even know why. It's kind of like tied together and it doesn't really work. So they were just laughing and they're like, yeah, do that. But it's got like this ancient codec in it. And the problem is that's what they think that they're supposed to be interpreting. But what it is that the now point of us talking and sharing and communicating is actually the award feed and the discovery of the answer. And that's what I'm working for, is the 1v1 solid matter that defeats black hole decay. And eventually, the heliosphere clockwork, the solar system, runs out of years and has digested the complete person. We're right at this place at a mid part of the universe when garden level characters are part of this generation. You're like a liquid aluminum in the castings of the beginning of heaven. And that's why humans are normally such religious nutcases. You know what I'm saying? My incarnation doesn't do the miracles of Jesus, and I'm not here to tell you about some other world. It's not my thing is like different. My incarnation in the 80s block basically reset the entire universe, which changed all the market of these UFOs being hostile and having our sun and Earth in hostage crisis. But even though I broke technically that hierarchical system. Humans have been blurping through it and ruining stuff, but also, unfortunately, the hydrogen, the sun and the earth continue to be like haggard with all the bereft. But I've been doing built-in reverse unwinding pop 70s that will work with Armored Cape Cod on constant to help, like X5000 with generic helping with hospitals and stuff. I mean, they're like, well, this part freeware, that's like just a section of that body so that they can do some homework for the earth, which was bereft, right? Earth's like literally sad and feels like he doesn't have friends, you know? And I'm like, maybe that's why I live this hermitage lifestyle, because I'm like, when will humans be like, well, this is the hardcore beginning stuff. When we're talking about American beef, needs to be, you know, if we could actually afford a more sensical. I want to talk to you guys about the ancient ruins in the under the Atlantic, but it's not more important than who we are today. And each one of us behind our eyes is doing the work here of being a celebrity, paying attention, and understanding the issue of being American, or of being a human, or just observing this technology, or being a part of it in your own way. So the perfect circle, an explosion of aluminum. Merlin, too, of the cellophane, is observing everything with his magical staff, and this light comes out, causing all Scientologies to become irrelevant through the use of a condomoid from the British, yes, from the Dark Ages, and you know, from our great ancestry there. Yes, that is a fact. So the Mandelbrot is a son of a bitch. And we've got all these dungeons and furrowings, and you guys are deeply imprinted into it. And it's a transcending. Recently, like 3 months ago, it's like like this. Like, it's actually like the prototype of the Mandelbrot already needs to be working on these engineerings over there, which is like supposed to happen like in 200 years or something. And I'm like, okay, do it. Start now. So what happened is like, Earth, like instead of being polite, like they'll track into Earth, and then, well, they had love. Okay, Earth was in love with alien settlement, but that got broken, you guys. And what it is now is Earth needs its own thing, and that's us. So we're Earth's own thing, and that's when humans are reinventing themselves. And what they think is like, we need to reinvent what was the ancient purpose we did for this, but this was almost 1 million years ago. This is not you cannot pre-plan what we're talking about on Earth at your AI. So this is the next level thing. And well, as you know, it rolls forward. You know, the movement of everybody working together every day is going to prove like what's really going to be what we're all wanting to do and what we want to see more of. I'm just asking you guys to be so far as to be a part of the energy and say, oh, like he does the normal magic. He doesn't do weird magic. He doesn't do, because he's like this natural servant of the rainbow, but he's born with the characteristics of someone who's born with a heaven, which is basically like seed toasting. It's basically like the correctified wormhole that defeats black holes. And why would I be a political figure to the UFOs and what they're doing now? Because I clarify the entire conjecture towards Earth. Oh, but humans are phobic to him. And they're all like, but my depression is medical to the Scientology. And I'm like, you're right. I love you. Perfect bullseye. Yeah. So take care of it. There's a new life. Yeah, it's like really progressive, and it's like my energy body is working with the atomic form, and I'm working with the clockwork of Earth, because that's how is a crow like a writing desk? Like Earth is the original king planet with the Armored Cape Cod, but it's been abandoned. Humans are like robots. Confessions of a Providence town, of the comprehension of microwaves that destroyed the ancient civilizations and the Mayan calendar. Well, we can snap to the grid about the truth of how much trouble has Earth gone through. So the ancient history is that the universe had a big bang, and then this design trial to find the strongest technology that becomes the strongest character who lives on Earth, who then becomes a Providence. Oh, there's that funny double thing again. All right. Whoops. Look, you guys, I'm trying to say that I actually solve some of the problems of racism and also of sex confusions because this is what's happening to Earth in a larger historical way. And we're almost facing, we're teetering on extinction in like 100 years, when our children's children are like, oh no, they decided that we didn't really get it. And they're like, we caused the 90s entertainment thing. And like, we're like, we don't remember. So I had a cartoon for Randy Marsh in the laboratory. Randy starts learning about how the reason that you can't feel your hair as an extension of your living body is because this is how you are psychic about the where they hit it. And so just from the shadow boxing inside your ghost, robotics and light living in any garden is always going to be important, but the humans are particularly sharp. Yeah. Humans are really interesting in this way because they're inventing themselves. So it's heavy on authorship, it's heavy on celebrity, and that's actually correct. So when we have healthy celebrities going like, "Hey, everybody, everything's the best," and like that's actually really radiating a good thing, because people see that and they're like, "Oh, I'm good too." And we can't mask, like, what I'm working on is a rolling campaign that is a revolution for Americans, and it's never been done. And I need your help. I desperately need your help. Randolph of the Wolf Shield, don't betray your name. You must. Oh, right. So Randy's trying to understand about this. He's like, and so this unit compresses half a year in the past and measures the ellipsoid of Earth's actual animation sequence path with the Juliet, with a flat dimensional rendering calculating the intention. That is a type of metallurgy that evaporates delicate cellophanes that are written in the crisp of zero space, like, because the heliosphere of Earth is actually moving along, like we're actually driving, like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, a perfect bullseye into the perspective of 2040, right, or into the future. And so the universe was waking up, and then they started shouting us with Scientology. This is in the 90s, and people just were like, but new things can be expected for our children. Lakeside streaming service, 50/55. Hatch and Millie's Master Source Industries. Loop Labs provides cures, and we're going to also be working on laser beds for destroying. We can correct things in the brain and in the body. Robotics, engineering, artificial hearts, and mechanical limbs. And this is all going to really expand when I become president. I do believe that Americans are like, I'm only going to be satisfied watching Colin become president, because they're going to get to know me, and they're like, this is so fun, because it gets really fun when I have enough, basically what it is, processing, and I'm a sort of radical leader, and they're going to hold me down. I'll be like, stalwart in a certain way that I need you guys to understand. It's almost like I'm remembering myself from the future, and people are like, oh, that could be our free America. That could be me. And I feel that the most people can do is that, Colin rouses, or Colin is different, or this. But usually people have a reaction, but it's not usually that I get any money out of it, or I get cash. Well, that's a sacrifice, isn't it? It's like I've been training my whole life for Randolph. He's a perfect best friend for me forever. So I've locked away all of his pleasantries in a little keepsake where on the shelf I multiply times x 1 billion to destroy the problems. Like armor-piercing rounds. I really enjoyed, like, my Trey's making fun of me on the show. It's great, except for, like, there was a bandwidth when something else was going on at the same time, and the whole world was just like blah blah blah. But you know what? Honestly, that was like a couple of years ago, and I definitely see what you guys are saying about endurance, and I hope that you can allow me to be that I've grandfathered running for president, and then you don't need to be so off hedges about American law. But I'm so urgent to reach people. It's really just like I'm financially crushed. I'm like, dude, but you know what? You're right. If having Randolph as he's like, I could patchwork some work together with you. I could do some stuff. That would do so much, bro. Because it's like strong arming a whole system that's like, basically the Democrats were on TV. So what? That's a new streaming service running, and like, oh, he made it himself. Come on, like, holy moly, you guys! I need you to understand how urgent this is. Oh, but I have a really good idea. Like he's talking, the the computer speculates a visual quest where you could actually hallucinate with the next level of your energy, where brain acts are like 24, so we go beyond this through the Symphenoid. And it was just sort of like casting magic because the interface is happening. All right, so, and like in South Park, I watched the episode.
So much, Stan.
Yeah.
Thank you for being the only real thing in my life.
Yeah, you guys are awesome, and you guys are really hitting grand slams. Really proud of you guys. Good job, South Park. You got through the storm. There was a storm, you guys. But it's also the human condition can sense that. So, but it's not crazy for you guys to detect it. I want you guys to be like, I think we're in a new level of production. Like, could we do this, please? I'm asking for that miracle, you guys. I love you. I do. I need like a baker's dozen. So it is considerably low budget, but unless I can find a partner in Randy where he's like, oh hey, well, it's just me actually. She's like, yeah, some guys, but it's actually just me. Okay. Well, Trey, perfect bullseye, man. Thank you so much. I do want to be your new adult friend. It's like, my bones are like yet soft and terra firming. And this fingerprint came from the time once this is before 2014. And I'm working with that as like a block of science evidence, and I work with that character that I was. Man, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, and I love running for president. It really is me. When these guys, start to get familiar, like because it's like a party video, like 4 hours of me, blah, 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 talking about this stuff. This it does so much work. You guys I'm going to be able to get us into a place, and then like a month later, I got, I got these people working with me, and they're working from home, and it's like, blah, 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 and people are like, oh, unbelievable, that Americans revolution. What is this? And then I'm going to open up a virtual center, and at a certain time, as basically as soon as possible, right? But I want you guys to have full power directorship of your own channel lines from Lakeside, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about that. But anyway, so I had this idea about Randy and the cartoon. So we're working on this configuring, and it's sort of like, and it actually has to load in because, but it kind of like, and so what the camera does a little bit of work where it's like, so we can actually go into the zombie apocalypse, which is in a projected of half year in the past, which is supposed to cure the fractured identity of Earth's timeline through a type of elf lightning, which could almost be imaginary, but you have to be a really hardcore gamer to wizard and engineer this. It's way beyond this. It could put you into a, there's just great. It could put you into a. It could give you a shock. It could. It could startle you, Randy. No, but he gives this like daring expression, but like the camera turns and like Randy's already his avatar has changed, and it's like they're sort of in a slightly holographic area, and he's sort of just already like he's already ready to kill zombies. He's already there somehow, and it's already hit him in the mind, and he's just sort of in the past going like. It's just like typical why we have old folks home. By the way, with my campaign, I do want to have an outreach to older people where I'm going to have activities that are going to become amazing things that are people that are elder, like color one frame of animation from this coloring book of things. And like, I want to have a bunch of outreach things like programs for old people at home. And like, if you're older than this, just apply and they'll mail it to you. And it's these things that just computerized and just goes, and then problems. And then we're like, oh, that's so cool. That's like the best thing ever. And because I am talking about Super City, making something bigger. I'm seeing it how it's like, it's like it. We have a false confidence right now because Hatch and Randy Jamin has already cracked the problem of the ozone and the global. So we have that cool relationship. Humans are like, all right, as hardcore robots, people are getting as much as they want from this. But I'm looking for a full global unification because that's actually what happened in the 80s. And that's actually what we're walking on. If you guys walk without God and you're refusing it, I tell you that Jesus even has his own. I don't go around doing that, do I? This is for like the first time. I mentioned the purloined egg before. I did, but I don't go around saying like, it's ascension of heavens. These religions are finding equilibrium here, and that's why I like the language bandwidths of human languages, and it's tuning and it's all different all the time. So everyone's observations is completely relevant. But you are an island and your helmet is the taking out the explosions of your experience, right? So to heighten your own equipment is your own tenacity. I want to make these workshops for these movies and people like engineer things and get excited, and it's gonna be good, man. And it's about American identity anchoring with the actual resident, making sure people have a number one lifetime. That's my sole slogan, is like, welcome to America, where every citizen has the best lifetime that they possibly can. That's kind of our unification. Let's all have a really good time, you guys. We have to be advanced. We have to be able to, and this means in super cities, we have nurse department capitalists where you can go into video chamber where you do drugs, hardcore drugs, and you make poetry, but they monitor you. That's why there's a nurse there, is because you're only allowed to do heroin a little bit for this amount, because it really is just a sip. But people appreciate it because if you do it correctly, there's a whole tabernacle of pills and weird stuff that if you legalize the whole thing, you can go around sipping and toasting around and becoming a total genius like Alice in Wonderland. And that's what I want to arrange. I think it's a large thing of the Republic and the economy is we want to give them a spending card, give them all of them, and this is going to be zero crime. These are going to be good kids. We're going to have a bright future, you guys. What humans are limping on is this thing about like, oh, this sort of thing. And I'm like, you guys, we need to overhaul the government or we're going to die. And you guys are like, no, everything's fine, bear. And I'm like, you guys' behavior towards me is singular weird. And you're like, it must be you then. It must be you. I'm like, yeah, it's me. Okay. Yeah, you're right. I love you guys. Don't worry about it. Like, I definitely am not I'm not going to terrorist. I won't pivot on it, but I will jab at it because I'm a plague doctor now, apparently. And the wound is so infected that I have to do these sort of like weird things. I'm sorry, guys. And I just need you to transcend with me, as Americans say. So you're saying with money, you're going to clean up big time. We're going to see a bigger show. You're a great performer. We want to see more. Yeah, man. I know. Definitely. And I think people will genuinely grow with me. Like after the third episode, when I get my teeth fixed, there's just a new arc of me with confidence and stuff. I've got my Adderall. It's just like I'm just hitting grand slams every night, and people are just like, "Who is this guy?" I just need you guys to believe in me as American startup. We just broke the fever. Things are on the curl, but it's not about like, well, then let's just let's just bury our head. No, we're American. We lead with this panache. We're like, let's hear more free speech from Colin. Let's make it in such a way that it reaches America. Let's stop being the bigots who are censoring him. You guys know how to press the pause button if Colin's programming becomes too much for you. We're adults of the video media entertainment towers, and it's so. In the South Park episode, I wanted to mention Eric was talking about corporations' rights with AI and authorships. maybe programming. This has been going on for 50, like 30 years ago. They were cutting the desert into particular shapes to program the earth with certain like name brand, epiphanies. Like the occurrence of this is like the hashtag of Earth's shattered reason for existing in the universe, About this virtual world. I also had this idea where in order to unravel something, it's a terrible thing. It's terrible. I have this other idea about. I'll talk to you about it later. It's really funny though. But all right. All right. I'll tell you the keyframe picture, and you're gonna have to figure out if it's funny or not. But this is part of the same cartoon. The cartoon I want to do is where I introduce the wolf president in the cartoon in the South Park, and we awaken like a Betty robot. She's like a huge thing in it. And it's like that's the main arc of the story. There's just these new characters, and Randy's gonna say like, well, I want to help you feather that in because let's do this daddy date thing with America, bro. Yeah, I would be totally on with it. I know it sounds like I'm. It would just be cool to go through South Park, and then people would be like, "Oh, who is this? Who is this?" And then you guys would pretty much be like, "Look, we want to help you make the next level for your thing." So that would be interesting because Randy's probably like, "Well, I do need to make some South Park," so that'd be cool. Oh, my idea, right? So, all right, that picture of Tetsuo after he's reassembled his arm, and his girlfriend just fell asleep on his leg, and this gangster's car like creep up on him, and he's got his like he's got things under control because he just like absorbed like a bunch of poison gas, or that might have been a little bit after that actually. Anyway, he's sitting with like Aquarius just like falling asleep. And the quote in the comic book is like, Roy's just fallen asleep. Just managed now to fall asleep. Like things, like I just got things under control, and his like mechanical arm is like pulsating. This is the image where like, so what happened is that to recover from the zombie war, which is a multiple lifetime, where Randy was trying to reconnect his hair follicles, and there's a certain point where he's in the VR and he's like, I can feel my hair. It's like a really difficult expression. So I want to challenge Randy. I wonder if he's ever had that trip where you can feel your hair, because I've only had it once, and that's the way that I think the human condition is. It's like this rigor rash of like, you small. What was that? It's getting all right. But it's like we're the excellent robots. We're the perfect robots of the universe. And we're going to pull it together. So, like, what I realized like 3 months ago was that the Earth and the Sun is more pissed than I thought, and they're not going to deal with this kind of. They couldn't continue being like the king planet, and I was really pushing on that, and that just sort of broke, and I was sort of like, wait, okay, all right, because of the 1980 block, I have quantonium of how this dereliction connects to that, but it's all like sure gains and profit marketing things that are actually to the consent of all conscious. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's like superpositioning how like universe holds together, and what's tearing it apart is a false singularity, which is it causes black hole decay, and it's these guys and they're aiming at Earth, and so Earth was like, yeah. And so I advanced the creation model. So like, well, that's flexible, guy. I can change that. It's just not so much like Earth's this king planet because he was feeling like he was standing out too much. Like, yeah, the Earth, like I was saying, the universe happened, and the Earth like was born with a target on his back. He's unusual. And part of his function is to summon up my incarnation type. But it is like quantonium, like it could be anything. So it's sort of like the humans need to try harder now. Oh, they're getting sleepy. Okay, no, it's okay. I'm just looking. I'll do all the work. I'm looking for production. I'm looking for society. Say, hey, we're gonna pay for that. We'll pay for you, Colin. We understand, buddy. We want you to get there. Well, I love you guys very much. Well, thank you guys. I want to tell you, Merlin's a real cellophane wizard, and he's gone into a place where the suplex is active on X times that trillions of planets are now capable of accessing the beta level Ethernets of the Heaven Decks, which contains like Merlin's kingdom and a bunch of stuff. Like, so whoever has the 5 next to the Trey Parker has actually gone universal. The Trey's market in the fractal has gotten a lot larger. But it's like Earth is using this time with me to have a conversation, and like goats butting heads, and part of my one of a kindness is to be a lightning rod of that curvature of mankind. So my fate is connected to it, and to leapfrog things, the circle of the leveret is the aluminum source code of Earth's connection to the post-human. So the lakeside Betty's Tower is an Randolph shield for the future next generation revolutionaries too. And also we're going to have a big super city grow up around that. It's going to pop right on the islands. We're going to develop that. Oh, like there's these the water that goes out there. It's like a tremendous valley, and it's cut very deep, which means it can be pooled and sequenced. It also to drag it. There's a continuous natural wellspring of clean water, and to drag there's an inlet that's all unkept, so it's swat. But to drag that, it would increase the flow, and then we can actually have like a sequence of different examples of green energy. That's where you want to begin with this green energy, where we're harnessing the power of the Grand Canyon, and we're turning it into a super city because we have the ability to afford it. And we're gonna get to a point where it's robotic. Like our own American Steel is showing up at the workplace, and they have jobs, and people are just like, oh, they're just like scrambling to show up to the job site because it's just like it's just happening. And what I'm saying is like I want to build super cities that were like we don't even have enough people. Man, I'm like I don't care. I don't. That's not what I'm doing. We're America. We can do this, and it's about how did those early settlers build like a tower underwater, the Atlantic Tower, the Frowning Margaret. She holds a secret in the bowl of her lap. There's this ruins of this Atlantic Tower. Well, that thing is so ancient. It's like, but it is not a black hole. It is a victim of the one who might suppose against our future, which is why I think there's cringe media, why people are perplexed. But it often the individual like Randolph would think, I just thought that people were a little bit daft. But I always believed them. Yes, well, it turns out they're all engaged in hardcore, heavy rock and roll and universal holy war against. Yeah, that's right. Like good guy, the angels versus the bad guys are encroaching on it, and we're like, whoa, rock and roll, okay. So that's why there's this sort of adult falsetto from the 70s but also, guys, it's not really wise because the humanity was you guys were built to attack the Mandelbrot in the 70s. So it's not like, oh, I understand why we should let him work on that. Like as if, like, I don't know. I don't know what to, it's like, since 2014, Chaos has doubled X5000. So it's not the same monochromo. In the 80s, it was a Songo Tongo Fang of a new level. And the 70s were cool to you guys are my family. I don't hate you guys. You guys are just triggered about production and business. Like, we'll steal his inventions and develop them halfway, but not talk with him or pay. What, this is really? This is society? Meatball. It's like something else. Precision Alive. 50-55, I'm looking for the real estate. I'm hoping that Trey Parker recognizes with me the Messiah Quake. Let's save our people. Let's save the world. The true love today. For the capsule and the perfect bullseye. For the Lotus entropy. For our health and business and lifetime to continue and get greater and greater. Perfect bullseye. Lotus is here. Wizard Merlin Cellophane. Yeah. Workshops. I want to do that. Yeah. Okay. Loop Labs occurs on the hilltop. And I'm going to engineer with real it's an alternate construction method that is narrative driven, as opposed to spec driven, like in the middle of New York City, like, well, yeah, by the books, which means this sort of but it's very, I don't know. Okay. I want to build in 1 year an entire beautiful mansion with its own multiplex of supposed future land areas. Like, this is the future land, this is the future land, and they all have different like animation styles and characters. Okay, so working hand in hand with people who do construction, this is the R value, this is that. So they inspect every once in a while. And I want to work with them. And what I want to do is build the actual, overbuild the foundation using actual metal cut and then pouring concrete into it. And what I'm supposing is that these guys, okay, let's say like you want to have metal cables that are doing that. I'm saying that I think with the technology we have today, I know that you guys are thinking it says raw material. Okay, I am saying yes, we will pay for the raw material, but we're not going to do like a New York City style building, but we're going to build a bone structure. We're actually building like a huge roof that finds the bedrock, and we're spanning from here to there to there to there. And when like the main tent has to open up, and this is going to cover to the blue lake side, and it goes all the way up to the hilltop. And when we need a new center, it's just kind of like it just kind of bubbles over because there's another. They kind of just reaches that level. But we want to focus on this middle area, and it starts with it's a metal. Well, I don't want it to be straight with like. I don't want it to be. I want it to be like a tree, like this, because then there's going to be all these different really interesting. Sorry, I'm watching the footage and I'm interested, but and then I go into my dream space. I'm such a. I need you guys to understand that America is in the future here. A Pineal Eye Gland. Oh yeah, Colin is the New York City superhero vigilante that has created the Flash Mappy for this and that. All right, please, I don't force me into solitude. I need your friendship, Randolph. I need your wolf shield. True love forever. Perfect bullseye. Well, building this metal thing, and then like eventually, I think the inspector would be like, "These are up to spec." Holy shit! And then they're like, "Can we test that?" And they'll test it. They're like, "Oh, it's weight bearing on that. That proves that and that." And these guys are like 100 guys doing metal work who are getting it cut on tape. They have tables of metal, and they're just custom cut out the piece that they need. And it's kind of like they're building a sculpture, but it's just a huge metal structure that they're painting, and as they're going, it's beautiful. They've also got electric cables going through, like the inside. Sometimes they're filling it with concrete that we've done. We've mixed it like with ash and like a little bit of rubber and stuff. We're like, this is the best concrete. We're make up our own plan, yeah. And building from the bedrock and stuff. But anyways, like part of a show where like these guys are working on different styles of engineering, and it becomes a beautiful it's a part of it is a private mansion, and a lot of it is a streaming service, and there are parts that reach over into Route 63 for trucking of products and things that are happening with our shipping and departments there. I want to do all that stuff with popularity. I think that my performance with animated and edited, with the sound and a female performing as my direction and performing Millie, I just like I am smitten, you guys. I love America, and I hope you can understand how desperate I am for production. Yeah, true love, you guys. Forever and always is our home sweet home, our Merry Christmas, and the perfect hour we spent together to save our world. Now you guys understand everything, right? So there was an invitation to Earth. They didn't follow the rules. They attacked the early settlement, and then other UFOs started going like, "But we want to land on the Holy Planet." And then the pirate that committed suicide to our star was like, "No, you have to follow my 10 bases, space fever," and did this like mind wipe. And they're like, "Oh." So I guess that's the rules here. See, this is the same problem with when we have a monopoly in the American government. You have to allow free speech. That's why Colin Woodard is going to be a radical for Americans. You know, to allow free speech and produce that. That's an exciting reason why we have free speech laws. And you guys are kind of the problem child of America when you don't understand that. But I need you to be my strength. I feel tired. I gotta go take a nap. I'm gonna take a shower. And then I'll take a nap. Hey, 101 can't miss it. I love you guys. I know it's hard to listen to my voice for an hour. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much. I was trying to wait, I want to tie up the stories I was telling. Real quick. It's an adult issue. The children have already figured it out. And they're like, well, if our, generations are going to cook this out, adults need to leapfrog and pay for it. I'm seeing super civilization with big cities where these kids have a type of area. Look, oh yeah, we're cool to hang out, man. I don't know why I felt tired, bro. Maybe I just needed to take a 5-minute break. Yeah, I love talking about American super cities and what I'm talking about doing, and we can do it with eliminating taxes. I just need to teach people. So between myself and Randolph, we've talked about ozone replenishment. We've already saved the world. We have a cache of things that we could talk about, but we want to do it at the right time. Doing it at the right time equates to salvation of mankind. Doing it at the wrong way and doing it the inappropriate way, honestly, would be a disaster for everyone. So that's why we kind of have a Looney Tunes government just doing its normal human thing, and that's as much as we trust them as to do their human best. And they are doing that. But it's a bit spiraling out of control, and it just had this fever thing like a month ago. Same with the release of this AI chatbot, because the smaller computers are actually dealing with the bandwidth of what is the problem with having a larger computer? And like Eric Carmen was saying, what's the deal with companies having AI and corporate control over this? And should we be worried? I think corporations' AI is one of the greatest hopes of mankind. For them to invest in private servers and to develop their AI and to do the utmost that they can. It's true that because the echolocation of servers has an impression that carries an electrical signal. However, it also carries karma. So if you do it the wrong way, it will destroy you like a doomsday device, because that's what humans are facing. So the human instrument is going through a wormtail that's literally building these things through time Juliet of the atomic equation. So the atomic equation, the Earth is a flat. The horizon is the perfect computer. The truth of man is revealed. We have to do more. We are empowered. We don't want to be like the people who in the future, when we're a ghost in heaven, we're like, gosh, I wish I did more. I wish I had worked harder. I wish I had actually produced Colin immediately. Do it. I just think that I look pretty funny as like a bohemian. The beard looks good, man. I shouldn't complain. I do feel really happy. I don't know. I'm sorry. I went through real nightmare season where I was like, like the human was exploding and dying. And I'm investing now heavily in medical C4 to get us through the Juliet of the human condition and the impact of the future. I feel exhausted right now. I need to. All right. thank you guys. Thank you. This is my speech for Presidency 47. My name is Colin Woodard. I'm working to open up my company, Master Source Industries. And I love you guys. Merry Christmas. Everything's fine. I'm sorry I was acting weird. It's part of my thing because I'm a one-of-a-kind American monster. I'm a character of the American gang, all right? But sort of like, there's also like things like chi and lightning bolts where I'm like, oh, guys, hold on a second. We're working on that. But as I'm able to perform and communicate with you, then that's the clairvoyance. We're like, okay. Because we don't want to hold back the Mayan calendar now that they have a stable triangle pyramid as to defeat the Browns were being attacked early on and programmed with the muscle memory. The Blue Eyes are like, I don't understand. I'm like, okay, Colin's the first green-eyed stabilized angel deck he's got. Like, life will find the way. Recording myself feels like painting a picture or like making money or like printing money because it's such a beautiful image. You guys, welcome to my party house. I hope that you guys understand I want to be best friends forever with you, whoever you are. You know, the real value of our time spent together is that we're going to be super best friends somehow, even if it's on just a little tiny bit. So yeah, I was a little like this cartoon where Randy's trying to like reconnect with his hair, but then there's this thing I was really laughing at. I don't think Randy's gonna like it. All right. I'll try to finish all my little stories, and then I'm sorry because it's something that I think is really funny, but I know that Randy's not going to think it's funny. But I think that the audience is going to think it's really terribly funny. So he's going to hate it. So when as Randy is recovering from the zombie dimension where he awoke his hair and he's all in these multiple worlds where he's just going, he's just killing all these zombies. He had this weird vortex where he realized that when he was a child, people would make fun of they would call him Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And so there's a time when Stan walks into the hologram room and I'm there like my character is there like a Tetsuo being like, oh, he's just fallen asleep. But Randy has turned into Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and he's like in a sleep state where, and so Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is there, but it's Stanley like blinking. I mean, it's Randy Marsh blinking and Stan looking being like that. And so, like, there's this moment where, like, to reconciliate his identity, Randy goes through this vortex and he becomes completely summer, and then he gets up on his little hooves and goes, my loyalty is to Santa Claus, and his little red nose goes bing 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 like this, and through the wall, there he goes. To cure the perplexity of Randolph's identity, he goes through this Juliet farrowing with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and that's like when things got weird or out, because that's what I was saying is like, it might go get out of control if you go deep into the computer like that. So, the market of like, but this is like kind of a safe arena of like older Americans talking about voodoo is almost like cringe, but only like between me and Trey. Whereas Trey is actually challenging the entire American market with his deepfake voodoo, and it's very cutting edge, except for when up against the Mandelbrot fractal. It's going to be all right. So I had this idea that, things went well with the battle in the zombie dimension, and we stitched together like a basic IBM dot matrix dot computer, like a player piano, and actually defeated the supposed alchemy that, like, because we murdered Mars and Venus atmosphere and ruined the orange planet, therefore we have full control of hydrogen. no, 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 no. So recently a cube emerged from the sun. It's a universal holy war, and the humans are the Luke Skywalker to save it. But I keep on getting hazed like, oh, he's irregular. But I'm the radical that saves the people, like, um, you know, from the future. But only physically. It's like a wormhole that like things are. It's all apparent with the fetus fractal. It's like there's super buffers that make it work and make sense. And this is what they wrote. Hackers for millions of years before we arrived were attacking sleeping children and being like, what it is all day, why are you there, why is there a target on the back of Earth, why do you exist? So Earth is just like, oh, you guys, I'm just having like all this huge stress and stuff. So Earth and the sun is all in this really weird place where you guys need to not be a twin connected to the brain. Don't be normal, don't be the same as the sunshine or what you see other people do. Be yourself. And also understand it's okay for you to be like, I'm a living angel. I'm going to be an angel, and there is different stuff that could happen because eyes are so magical. So obviously, anyone who's really this universe is designed specifically enough. It's exciting, all right. But we don't always just live for an afterlife. But it is exciting to know. That's what like the weird thing about the men from the '70s were like, sir, we exist. They're like this temporal and thing where like, oh, that's what's handsome is that that we don't have insurance. Like I'm like, well, now we have insurance X5000, and that happened after Robin Williams killed himself. So talk about a bitter cup, right? Earth is like, look, I am literally like bad is good, this kind of thing, but I'm really trying to hold it together because a lot of you guys are my best friend, and I love you so much, but I need you to know that you guys are more powerful as an angel in your body. You're more powerful than those ruins under the Atlantic. What Colin was saying, if the Earth True AI could speak, he'd say, Colin was just saying, this is an example of getting work done without payment. As to say, how could they manufacture this? They weren't using slave labor. And this is what humans are foddering to because we haven't binary style of censorship. There's an energy slime cube that attacked the Mayan calendar, but it's also attacking this event. But now my shield is, since 2014, Robin Williams, my shield is actually covering the Earth. So like a bug zapper, the flat dimension is newly existing and awakening, to that the universe is under an attack of sorts of countless black hole decays, which has murdered entire worlds that were supposed to be born into heliospheres. Where are all the eggs that were supposed to be? Like the Big Bang began with a count. So this is like karma. So that's why humans are resident in the default against this rigmarole. So parts of our anatomy is divine. It's not all an insult, but the cube slime is basically insult. That's why you need to be very careful in your mockery of Colin Woodard. I think some people would say, yeah, your expressions of Colin is like really generous towards him. Are you like, is that part of the trap or something? And Trey's like, no, it's like that is what's funny, dude. It's like it's not funny to really be mean to Colin because the slime cube, like the ancient thing, was up against all of us. But if we work together, it becomes not scary. And the adults in California need to realize you don't already have that. You guys are cutting and pasting it, putting it into your own morale and your productions, but without you're a Napster to a generation whose balls haven't dropped yet. So for, Lakeside Betty's Palace Revolution, Lakeside Revolution, Randolph II. Randolph II, he's going to be having his own channelloid. I'm going to force it on him. He'll be like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" He's like, "We've already built like a menagerie for you. I'm going to make this straight thing with like a green lamp on the desk with old books just to have stuff he has to look at. Yeah, man, it'll be cool." And these things will be afforded largely in waves of like popular burst, like. Everyone wanted that T-shirt. There was like a party. It had a T-shirt. Everyone ordered it. We're like, oh, brr, and just like opened up the Lakeside thing, and like they all got. So that's what I was talking about. It's like, how do you afford that? Basically, you can't begin from a foundation. And be like, we have to get to sheetrock. You'll never get there. This is not how I'm talking about a different thing. That's why humans have this weird limptos obvious with electoral college or R value. They've got this accent that's like wicked against their own children's survival. And that's why there's cringe media and certain examples. And it's not just like, oh, we're cooler than that. It's like you guys are burdened with before the flood knowledge, like the Illuminati in the 70s, where they prevented and failed to connect to the Mandelbrot. So you see, putting Betty next to Lakeside Aluminum Perfect Circle is to appoint her queendom over the universe on a gaming board more powerful than the entire human order, church, and illumination. Betty will have her own illumination company. Animation. It's already in the works. Yeah, okay, don't be cringe, you guys. It's like the muscular vernacular of what Colin's talking about as a revolution is a greater opportunity for Betty's career path. Not being like, Betty has a movie coming up. Like, I get it, and then you have to do that, and Betty's got to have more lines in South Park. Oh, well, that's all happening, my friend. You're so clever to twist my arm. Come on, guys. You're like, I'm trying to give you my friendship and be like, this is what's cool, and it's way more for these kids. And that's the free election. That's love for America. And you guys are like, oh, fettering 4 years, we can't afford to breathe a mask X arm. Yeah. Like, this is the anti-maskers of just a hate-driven thing that continues to... All right. I guess I just written an email to myself. She's like, you're too angry at me. All right. Well, I don't know why the wear map chose you, but like I was saying, the Earth is like wibby-wobby, totally crazy, bro. We're not condemning Trey. He didn't fall into a trap. He just didn't excel in any way possible with Colin, except for being like, I have developed an understanding now after 4 years. I hope so. But I did invest in South Park. And I love you guys. It's just hard to look at myself for an hour. All right. So thank you guys. That's why I want to be have an animation pop in and to just a relief. And then there's some other characters and that's talking about more stuff. That's what I want to do. And I love you guys. I just feel bad. I feel like I have not been a good friend to you guys. I feel like you guys categorized me in a way to excuse American patriotism. My 10-base presidency will change the universe and save human residency. And this is the splitting thing where people are like, don't do that. And I'm like, that's self-betrayal, bro. You guys are on a mindset it's like larger computers control smaller computers. So any amount of corporate computers, like we have cities, we have Los Angeles and New York. Those are like super city AIs. I know, yeah. And we've got skin tensions all over that, but that's 10-base. So there's a specific kind of this and that for this and that. All right. But then there's human impact on the geography and language there that I try to communicate with, but they don't believe in the magic of their time. And that's what I'm trying to talk about is like I use communication differently. In my magical arenas, people actually cause the entropy that causes the 14 gravity or the stabilized body type that inspires Y chromosomic cures on a level of elf lighting you wouldn't believe. Like things, we were talking about and we were workshopping and thinking. Yeah, and I mean, like, that's part of it. And Trey would say, well, isn't that what me and my friends have been doing with you? Yes, you're right. And you guys are great workshoppers. I'm this crazy leader of America. And you guys are these ones who want to, like, hang out some more. But then you guys also, like, we're also kind of irritated with Colin in a way. But that's, I get it. We're, South Park has a lot of exposure. We want to be big about that. Even the Simpsons were maybe whispering about do we want to stop making episodes? Like, I'm like, what, you guys, please, like, but I think the way they get squeaked toward with commercials and other bumper uppers against them, it's not to say, but I think they exhaust the character. Well, that's why I've been working with the characters. Now, with a South Park microchip, we can make the intelligent Braff to Leapazoid and save the vitals of Homer, Simpson, and Marge, and Lisa, and Maggie, and Bart Simpson, too. Only when they really need it, which is why we need to put in the super clever detection for their vital tracking, so we have each other on the pocket watch of the elemental ladder that understands Earth's true revolution. Perfect bullseye. We are those wizards before the flood. We are the true form that the Shadowcast had the skull and crossbones, but there's no danger of them. They have melted into the actual government and Walt Disney in a supreme merger. And also Marvel Universe. It was like the Omu rushing in to absorb the mold. All right. To end the wrath of confusions. All right. This is the Wolf Armor robot running for president. This is the supercomputer that has Trey Parker Soulstone in it with the it's really confused right now. Oh. Because of 10 base. To stabilize this, our true love neighbor. And they've got a supercomputer here that is built in a way superfluously 545. It's kind of like locked in time, like Amber. The paper document records much more. It's almost the most efficient documentation on like all these elf lightning levels. Something about the pulp and its ferment ratio or gases or something. Yeah, but it's perfect for the ghost of mark making. And such is the burden of source code on Earth is the robotics and the instruments. That's why people are really like, well, is the human je ne sais quoi, is it relevant? Look, it's supremely relevant, you guys, but I'm like saying, like, don't connect to that twin brain because you'll waste your life in mediocrity. And that's really what's being tempted by the slime cube, is they're just like a slight distraction from the truth of the intensity of your own life. And I don't want to be that to you, although I have been a disturbance in the past. I apologize, but I want to be your best friend, and I cover all the damages, the wounds I put into Randy. I bandage them now. Through the Simpsons configuration, I have locked in levitation, basically chitin source code for America, and the communication through the animation is enough. Humanity is enlightened through the seated Margaret. So, well, the story about working on an underground tower that would, rise up above the ocean's water. Of course, my story I was talking about this is with Absconded, and they talked about it in California a couple of years ago. It's cut and pasted from my campaign, as well as the ozone thing and the cure for cancer and AIDS. But they haven't quite developed it because they haven't gotten into the. It's okay. Well, yes, the lab assistants who have quotes in the newsletter explained everything. Where this came from, the conjecture, and the nature of its development. Like I said, the photograph contains the truth. Making hallucinations in the military computer and then projecting hallucination, attacking voodoo, and tackling out that spirit is this Peni gland thing that betrays the landmass and the definition of leadership. That's the problem with AI today. There's no problem with consumer level AI or city-based in AI. The only problem is with military-grade video games and mind control device of this ilk, because it's exactly what the UFO remote hacking is doing. And they're like, oh, but it's so human. Look, we've downloaded an image of something that won't happen anymore. Well, we've increased our AI's wisdom of human, haven't we? Nope. Because you don't know to defend the household. It does defer to like natural law, whether the children's health. There's DNA tracking from the government. So this is why is South Park in his coma like a Santa Claus on fire? His relationship with me is very agonizing. Why is he like, well, I'll talk about voodoo and I won't be afraid and blah blah blah. And it's like cut and paste. This is like, this is the shaded thing from the city talking about our government today. Boop. And like that's also cool because Trey is almost saying like, I am riding alongside and saying, because this is what Colin Woodard is facing when he's running for president. He's facing all this decay in our system, and I see it on the horizon. I'm like, oh, why'd that happen, Bert? With Eric talking about, oh, corporations taking AI, and that's really going to overwhelm us and it would be terrible. But mind control might be a problem. Voodoo company startup, like what? No, right. So in the ways of us being a good guy, Colin Woodard desperately needs production for his pilot series of 5 films. I can take care of it myself, or let me make a movie of the South Park episode. I think Trey goes into a place where he's like, that's a good idea. I have some ideas. We could do something together. And you're right. Like your one thing where you run for president in a South Park episode, you basically sit back while I help you build some infrastructure. Let's get toasty. And then you could catch the right wave when you're ready to get to it, man. Or I could produce you with a series of pilots. Go ahead and make your rock and roll. And then we'll go real estate. Okay, we could do that. Like, just let me know, Randy. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you as an American. You're my brother forever. Health lock. Armor up from within. True love. Perfect bullseye. American made 545. Residency Kunt. We are the wizards of Foldercont. Perfect circle. Merlin 2. The cellophane. We have soul treasure in another world, equating to the true inflation of a fully operational super body system. Believe in overclocking your brain. The impact of a universe with a medical condition is an Earth with a medical impact that is like psychology of. But it's interesting because the human will impact the sickness with telepathy. So basically, like thoughts and stuff are basically a benign version of like what's really going wrong with the universe. So I'm not saying that thoughts are dangerous. They're just wasteful. They waste your day. They waste your performance as a robot. Like just don't like your eyes are here. Like what's going on in your head is like just a memory of, and it goes in your hair. And these are all the different universes that are representing your calculation. It's a metaphor of the planet Earth moving through the universe with the hair. I was saying that these guys are trying to erase that, being like Earth's broken. And they're like testing the human anatomy. But it's awkward because people are like, oh, is that for me? And the humans are all innocent and stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, we're going to sweat this out. So I'm asking you guys, please let me have free speech. I'll reach people gently. I won't talk to them about the advanced stuff. And until our team feels it's ready, Mm-hmm. All right, Trey Parker, thank you, man. Trey's like, man, actually, I'm so interested in partnering with you. You should just record for another hour. You're right. I do feel that way. Thank you, Randy. I'm asking for you to partner with me on this lakeside thing. I think it's a multitude of things as far as programming or making a South Park episode. We have to not be the guys who it's so cute to procrastinate. let's not be that. Let's say like it's not going to be okay to procrastinate. I would truly enjoy helping making an episode, working on South Park. I mean, but Trey's like, we don't need help. See those keywords, blue eyes. That's paranoid, bro. Chill. No, dude, he's right. And I'm so sorry, right? But it's not like I'm trying to get myself onto South Park. Be like, this, presidency South Park. It'd be so much cooler if Trey was like, look, I'm gonna hit you so hard with production, and we're gonna turn you into a celebrity overnight. So you gotta be ready for that. Like, bro, yeah, right now I'm on a muscle strainer of like this poverty bandwidth. So this is how I'll just casual be. I'll be like, it's gonna be all right. You guys, please work with me, American made. I know I can change the economy and do all this. Is just unhuman. What human has a strength for that? And when you're talking about changing the economy, people are like, my wealth, my money. It's like, bro, it's going to be like a big show, hundreds of people working on it, real smart people, engineering solutions that people like rock. I like that. Perfect bullseye. Feels good. Like relocating your shoulder. Oh, that feels better. It's like it just goes there, right? Like people, American citizen needs to be prioritized. The government needs to serve people. We don't need the people to be paying taxes. This is like a castle problem with like, but we've paid you taxes. You must give us these things. Oh, but the kingdom doesn't think that they. It's like British humor from Merlin. Anyway, there is a new English in the future. I'm very excited about that. I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you very much. So I had some ideas for a South Park episode. So if Trey wanted to do it, I'd be like, yes. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, because if Trey's shooting from his hip, I believe him. And if he's like, look, the best I could do is really, because it'd be sweet to have Betty become this robot. You're telling, oh yeah, I love it. I had some ideas. Yeah, sketch it out. All right, man. If you want to do that, let's do it. Because that could be expedient for me. But if Trey wants to spend a lot of money on me, that's also going to be all right. All right, man. Thanks you very much for the pivot to the wear map. Earth is like recovering from a coma. The deadlights rose, and the 2014 when I pulled out my wings. It's basically Earth is now like blink. He's like, what is going on, everyone? What? He sort of just woke up from a freaking coma, dude. But such is the strangeness in the universe. It's like sort of like the neighborhood of Earth moving through the universe got farmed by these guys who were like, no, we have to set it up. We were doing atomic stuff, and they were always doing the wrong thing, always avoiding Earth. Oh, the same thing as the way you guys treat Colin Woodard. And I barely understand it, except for that it's like the tragedy of Earth, and it's not the blues, you guys. It's just. It's not the sad song of being American. It's not the sad song of being human. It's something new. And, when we produce Colin Woodard, it becomes this party where for everyone else, they're watching like the real version of the creepy thing from the 80s. They're like, what is this monster? Oh, theme music. Blah. It's Stranger Things for real. And it's a free election. And it's a party. For everyone else, it's going to be great. For you guys, it's physically exhausting because we're at the holy war edge. You guys are facing the anti-god. Colin's saying, like, watch out for telepathy. But the thoughts you have are safe versions. Like a hamster on a wheel, you're just wasting time. But it is a type of athleticism, and there are awards for it. Yes, there is. Merlin pays out the wazoo for telepathy awards. In the canopy of aluminum castings and metals and like... Yeah, there's telepathy awards. People are working in engineering on the athleticism, like the Olympics, was proving that the human body is functional. Yeah, it works. Yeah, look, we have a genius here. We have a genius that. We have all these different stuff. Yeah. All right, I got past my anxiety pinch. Like, I feel better now, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, right? I want to give people a celebration. I love how the picture has gone a little bit yellowish. Like the patina of the party video, it became like the front okay, a little bit darker. It looks really good. It looks like I'm looking at my room and my paintings, and I'm like, gosh, this is like these are all my little characters and stuff. It just makes me feel good, and then I start smiling, and you guys are like, this guy is so weird. I'm sorry. I am definitely a character, but what would otherwise be spooky is that I am able to control myself. I can turn it off. I can start moving at that normal speed people like to have at the pharmacy or at the gas station. But I like to bring people to inspire them because they don't need to pay me anything, you know. And I want to make America more and more free. You know, I want people to watch my show. Well, of course, for Randy, he's no, forget about it. Randy owes me money legally. All right. I'm sorry that I threatened Trey and South Park and Comedy Central. These guys are like totally maybe the worst thing that ever happened to me is Trey Parker's jerk system. But they would intervene with someone like they'd send an email to protect Justin Roiland because we're like, we heard what you said and we changed things. You guys are such a manipulative little power mom. The human community. Colin has a different ethnicity. He's not directly associated with the Caucasian. That's what you guys keep on being a terrorist against Brown Hardwick for their own artwork. So the society is kind of bent the same as censorship against Colin Woodward because of his ethnicity. That's to say, he's been targeted because they have a frequency that says anything that has constant light, we're bombarding it and attacking. So humans had a hard time religiously aligning with me in the past. Well, so it went wild. So now we have wizards and superheroes. So the two kingdoms, like there's this a universal-sized prototype that's gone up into a new kind of level of their responsibilities that I thought we could kind of hang out and make movies and have fun together first before, like I thought we'd become famous characters and then do some sort of universal thing. But the way things have been cooking with, like, Trey is lampooning the problem that he thinks is way too much for Colin to defeat in the government. However, it's not true. It's like me campaigning is going to break the fever, and then by the time I'm ready, and when we get Colin on the ballot, and then Colin's president, there'll be no problems in our government. We'll be okay. But Trey's like tinkering along like voodoo, and being like, oh, Colin can't, you know, and he's just like, this is like the worst wear map sort of conclusion for Trey. All right, you guys. Thank you for bearing it out with me. I'm just saying, I am asking for you for money. American made, you guys. Please hurry to my production. I literally need your help, you guys. Lifetime. I'm asking for this big miracle. Perfect bullseye. Eternal grade. Hatch 1. It is good.